like there's people that are crazy right here. They see me on the phone and they still want to come knock on the door and ask me questions. So if they come and interrupt, every so often you'll hear me say, "Hey, I'm busy right now." So like I might cut in the middle or stop the conversation because everybody's running around right now, and I can't like they don't let us block the doors. There's certain cars that let us put like a towel right there on the window, but yeah, I just thought I'd let you guys know that.
All right, perfect. I really
But it's
appreciate
good
it.
though. It's good.
All right,
Uh
sounds
huh.
good. So last time we spoke, we left off at or where you left off because it's your story. I'm just along for the
Uh
ride.
huh.
But you
Yes,
were
sir.
you had just hit county jail, and you were gonna go into the your court proceedings. And if you want to go ahead and
Yeah.
take over from there and guide us through your journey.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think I was talking about when they had the FBI and ATF. They had a bunch of like high ranked so officers from like every FBI, all them fools. They even had the border patrol and they were interrogating me. They were trying to get me to pretty much they were trying to get me to tell on my crime, and they're telling me that my crime is already told on me. So I think I had already said that I told them, well, if he already told you what happened, why you asking me then? Because they were saying, hey, you might as well tell us. Your crime you already told us what happened and what. They were getting mad because I was being a smart ass. So they started roughing me up. And I remember I seen an officer coming towards the room because there was just like glass, just like it was like a four or a three walls made out of, but it was just see through. It was just glass and then only one solid wall. So the officer got a chance to see these fools roughing me up. And I was like, man, that was the one that was gonna save me. And then they detoured him. They're like, nah, get out of here. He must have been like a new Huda or something. And so yeah, they pretty much they couldn't get shit out of me. And they fucked me up, man, and you know it wasn't even worth me telling anybody, any of the other cops, nothing. Because sometimes you'll get it worse. So I just took it. They beat the shit out of me. I went back in the cell, and I'm just sitting in the cell, stressed out, homie. I'm like, fuck, man. Like I felt like that was it. Like everything was just going too fast. I mean, I couldn't even think. I couldn't even think. I was like, man, the first thing I was thinking, and when I was able to think clearly, I was thinking about my mom. I was thinking about my dad. I was thinking about the shame, because at that point, like they already knew I was wanted, but they didn't know I was dumb enough to come back. Like I came back. And they had told me like, don't come back, man. They're looking for you, and. But yeah, so it got pretty bad, though. I think, like my thinking process was I couldn't sleep. I was having nightmares. I was like ugly, ugly nightmares. It got to the point where I don't know if I mentioned it, but yeah, they ended up putting me in the men's ward. It's like a hospital inside the county jail, and I was in there for maybe like 3 weeks. I was just I was having the ugliest nightmares, of everything I'd seen out there. I guess now that I was in a cell and I wasn't out there because every day out there it was just paranoia of getting killed or paranoia of getting caught. All kinds of shit was going through my head. Like, man, like I don't have a life. Like I got money, I got everything, but I ain't got my peace. And you can't put a price on peace, man. I was like, money was like, I wasn't even happy. But once I was in that holding cell, I was relieved, but at the same time, it was just everything that I know and everything I witnessed, everything I've seen. Like you know, normal people, like not a lot of people get to see that, and you don't want to see it. It's not only seeing it, it's smelling it, homie. Like being there when they slice somebody open, or you see the guts fall to the ground, and you're like, fuck it, you gotta act tough. You gotta literally stand there, and you see these dudes have no heart. You just gotta stand there and watch and play the part like you're cold hearted like them. So all that came back in nightmares for me. Like some of the victims were like they call it se te subió el muerto. Like I felt like I was laying in bed and I could feel somebody laying in bed with me, and I was single cell. So I knew it was nobody in my house in my cell, but they were like pushing me against the wall, and it was ugly. It was ugly. So yeah, I got over it after a while. I started doing my little day room. started calling my mom, and every time I called my mom, I was crying. So I would try to avoid it sometimes, but then again, she couldn't be. I couldn't because she wanted me to call her. And then I would call my girlfriend at the time, and she was crying. And it was like everybody I was calling, it was just all sadness. So it was just, it was heavy on me. It was like I was losing it, homie. I was like, fuck. And just knowing that at that point my client is still out because they're busting me by myself. Like, they're still out there, and I'm calling them. I'm telling them, hey, fool, what's up? Bail me out.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
They're like, oh yeah, we're getting the money right now. My bail at that time was I want to say 500,000 at that time because they weren't even sure. That's how, man. I'll tell you why it was only because usually it's a million for murder. Automatic is the bail is a million, 2, 3 million, upwards of a million. And the reason it was 500,000 told me a lot. Like, okay, so they know for sure I didn't do it. They were just using me as trying to get me to roll on everybody. So I called these fools to try to bail me out, and at first I couldn't get a hold of nobody. They're scared. They're like, hell no, they ain't gonna pick up because them fools are wanted too. So I had to like three-way a bunch of phone calls, and then they rerouted me to like I ended up using a satellite phone that wasn't able to be tapped or tracked and none of that. And I finally talked to the homies, and I'm like, hey, fool, what's up? They go, yeah, we're going to get you out, fool. And I was like, man, you better hurry up before I go to court, because they're talking about taking me back to court so they could raise the bail. And yeah, sure enough, right when they had already posted or the same day they were going to post the $500,000 bail, the DA we went to court and the judge brought it up to a million. So now these fools have to roll around. Hey, yeah, hey, give me a minute. What is it? Coffee? Give me hey, okay, yeah. Yeah, man, hey, sorry about that. You hear that? They're bugging me for coffee. That's so funny.
And
Yeah, and a lot of times, hey, dog, everybody tells me, Javi, tell them food no, but I can't do that. I mean, like, everybody knows everybody can come here for everything, man, and that's, you know what, it's nothing, man. Some of these dudes have nobody. And I've been there. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to have nothing, So, that's why I'm like that. Oh, my God, I just spilled a son of coffee. Okay, I'm almost done, homie. Yeah, go down. So, there you go. Yeah, I'm going through all these headaches, man. Like, I'm trying to get the bail done. I'm pretty much arguing with them because I would expect for them to get on it faster, because they're supposed to be my road dog. They're supposed to be, my crew, the ones that, I was running around with out there. I was doing all the hard labor. I was doing all the cooking. I was doing all the cleaning. So I kind of expected more from them. And they were kind of slow dragging, so right when they were...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Yeah, they took me back, and sure enough, they took it up to a million. So now these fools have to hustle up. They had the money. That's what I was getting mad. They had the money, and it was getting me mad. They were like, they just didn't want to break themselves. They had it, but they were probably going to be low on money. But they could have paid it. So once they got the money again, I guess they were listening to all our phone calls. They took me back to court, and then boom, they said no bail. So it's like a little game that the DA was playing. He's like just fucking, oh man, this DA was nothing nice. I mean, he really wanted me, you know. So yeah, I ended up with no bail. So now I'm sitting in the county jail, and I'm just sitting there and fucking just stressed out, homie. I'm trying to do the best of it. I'm trying to, at that point I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to do nothing. The only thing I know how to do is use the phone, sleep, eat, and shower and all the regular stuff. So I would spend most of my time on the phone. I would, I'd go out to the day room. I would get the trash can. I'd turn the trash can upside down, and I literally fall asleep on that phone. And there'll be a whole line of people waiting on the phone, but I was buying everybody's phone time. I would go to the store, and everybody that was waiting in line, I would just offer them food. Like, man, let me just stay on here. So yeah, throughout the whole time, I was just using the phone, and And I was trying to figure out. I was trying to put like a legal, like a lawyer, put it in motion. I had a bunch of stuff out there, but nothing was under my name. Everything was under my family's mom's name, and or he had everything. I couldn't own nothing. Everything was, it was all bought with drug money, anyways. But it was pretty hard for me to gather up money for a righteous lawyer. Towards the end, I ended up getting it, but then that lawyer got greedy. He got greedy, so he fell off. So I was like, man, and then that fool got like, they got restless. They couldn't even deal with it no more. So they just cut me off. So I went like maybe like a month and a half, not hearing nothing from them. And then next thing you know, on the news, oh no, I called my girl at the time, and she tells me, she goes, hey, guess what? And she puts the phone on the TV. She goes, look, they just busted them fools. And I could hear it. These fools got in a high speed chase that's going against traffic on the freeway on the wrong side. And bam, yeah, I guess they wrecked into the center divider and they busted these fools. One of these fools had like 7,000 on his pocket. They found a gang of dope, a gang of guns. It clearly shows, who had, when I got busted, I didn't have but like $35. I didn't, at that point, I think my brother had the money. I had told him to hold, but I wasn't planning on taking none of that with me. Where I was just saying my goodbyes. I was going to my brother to pick up his kid and drop off them four dudes that just crossed the border. So I didn't really have money wasn't nothing, man. Like I didn't care about the shit. As long as I ate, I was good. As long as I didn't fucking starve, I was good. It killed the whole fun of the whole joy of having money and spending it for what, I was wanted. Like that's the worst feeling in the world. Like fuck, okay, where can I go? Where can I hide? What can I do? But yeah, so I'm in the county jail, and I think I started trial in. Let me see. I got busted in June 13th, June. August. I think I started trial towards I think maybe the middle of August. Yeah, I think somewhere in August. And man, this trial was killing me, dog, because I'm in a Vista jail, and they're picking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:45, taking me all the way to downtown, because that's where our trial was at. So when they had us off there, when everything got busted, they separated all of us. One of us was in George Brady, one was in El Cajon, South Bay. Well, all different county jails in San Diego. So we'll meet up, and then we'll get there, and everybody was stressed out. Everybody's stressed out. We're not trusting each other. We're all looking at each other like who's gonna roll, who's gonna say what, And me, I was like 100%. I'm not gonna say nothing because I know what they are. I know what they're capable of, and I know the repercussions. So like me, I was locked in. I'm rolling all the way. You know. Yeah, we're doing the with the first. I forgot what they call the first. The arraignment. The first time you go to court, it's called an arraignment. So you go in there and you plead not guilty.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
You plead not guilty, and then they ask for another bail. They have to take the bail off and fucking no bail. So so go back. So it's pretty quick. The first court meetings you get when you see a judge, they're pretty. The drive is so long, and then you get there, and then boom, you go to court in like 10 minutes. No bail, not guilty. Okay, no bail, goes back, and then they'll set it for next month or another time. I think it's about to hang up. You want me to just hang up and read down?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna call back.
All right, so we're currently speaking with Javier right now. He's going through the early stages of his case. So right now he currently he had recently been picked up by the local police department, and he's going through the motions right now through county jail and going to court and whatnot. So when he calls us back right now, I see Eliasman left a message on there, so I'm gonna go ahead and relay that message as soon as we connect right now, and then he'll go ahead and continue with his story. And from what I hear, it's a pretty interesting story. Once he starts getting through the system and whatnot. I haven't heard uh, uh, a large portion of it, so we're all gonna be hearing this at the pretty much the same time. I just got a small the shortened up version of the events that happened up until he hit prison, and I don't know that many of the details of what transpired after that. So there we go.
This call is now being recorded. Link. You have a prepaid call from
Javier Yanez.
An inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call
Nope.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So
Right here.
before you continue, I want to go ahead and read up a message that Elias man put on here for you. He said, "Hey Javi,
This is the YAVIER. That's E4 neighborhood over there. Hell yeah. All right, I
Yeah.
spent my eyes, man. Yeah, that's cool, man. But yeah, man, hey, when I got up and I forgot, like the coffee that I spilled, and like, man, my shoes are all hella sticky. But yeah, I cleaned it up real quick. That shit was all bad. But yeah, that's cool, man. Man, hey, is Letty listening on it? Did she log in?
she has
Is,
she
is, is
she
she
hasn't
listening right now?
she hasn't posted anything yet. So, but if she does, you'll be sure.
Okay.
I'll let you know because I already
Yeah,
know.
I got on her as I got on her as last time. I go, what's up? You're supposed to be my support system. Like, what the hell? She goes, I was listening. I go, why didn't you ask questions like the first time? She goes, man. Oh, I think she said she was cooking. I think she's still cooking. Actually, she is cooking right now too. So, but yeah, I was just curious,
Yeah.
I told her, man, get on her so I don't feel by myself. She goes, man, I'm there. I said, all right. But yeah, man. Yeah. So, man, what was that? What I said? What was the last? What was it? I think I was in. Okay, yeah. So, so when we got a rain, they did the what's it called the no bail thing again. Cause trip out on this, they're not supposed to. You know how I was trying to bail out,
Yeah.
and they blocked it. They said no bail. They're not supposed to do it like that. The judge is supposed. You're supposed to go to court, and the judge is supposed to tell you. But I guess they got a way when they feel that you're a flight risk. They could call the judge at midnight, any time of the hour, and get the no bail signs from the judge, directly from the judge. I forgot what it's called, but yeah. So that's how they were doing all that bail, 500,000 or no bail, because that was our first court. So when we went in there, we were trying to get our the judge to actually allow us a bail, and we were letting them know why. Like, yeah, I know, I had ran at first, but obviously I came back. My whole family's here, my whole support system is here, my immediate family's here. I'm not gonna go nowhere. And no, they refused to give me bail. For a while they kept saying no bail. So that's where we were like, oh, whatever. So they send everybody back to the little cells, back to their own county jail. And I'm in there just, trying to make the best of it, man. Like I said, most of the time I was spending on the phone. I wasn't even working out. I mean, I wasn't even combing my hair. I was looking beat up, tore up, man. Just man. I was even taking like sleeping pills because there's a bunch of fools in there taking like psych meds, right? And I didn't know. I'm thinking they're just regular sleep pills.
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I remember some fool told me, "Hey, you want to try these right here?" And it was something called Thorazine. And I'm like, "Well, what's that?" He goes, "That's gonna help you sleep." Oh, anyhow, I took that pill, man. It was like a little orange one. And that shit, I was on the phone. I was on the phone with my girl, and that shit, like, it knocked me. I was hella groggy, and that shit had me messed up for like 4 days. I was slobbering. I was like, what the hell did you give me, homie? Like that was some crazy shit, you know. But I was willing to take anything just so I could sleep, man, because my nightmares were not letting me sleep, man. I was struggling bad, and it was hard, homie. And throughout the whole time, I'm thinking about, everything. You know what happens when you get caught for something like that? All you do is rewind and rewind and rewind. All you do is think about everything you did your last, maybe, I'm gonna say like your last 3 months. I kept going back to my last 3 or 4 months, up into when the murder happened. So I kept going back and I kept replaying it. That's why I could tell it so easy, I guess. Like, I kept replaying it. Like, man, what could I have done wrong? What could I have done different? Had I not told, or had I told, like the buyer, the one that was gonna buy the dope, had I told him, hey, homie, don't tell your mom, don't tell, because I was open, like I knew their mom and I knew their sisters, and they used to like to pitch in, and so they could hustle and triple their money, so they would pitch in on deals, and so at that time, I knew they were gonna pitch in, but like what I didn't know is what was gonna happen, that he was gonna end up getting killed. I was thinking we were just going to take his money because he was playing games, and that was going to be part of the repercussions for Bush, and then I was just going to give his mom, because his mom had nothing to do with it, his mom and his sister, they're cut back, like whatever they pitched in, because I knew they pitched in like 3,000 or 2,000 each. So um yeah, look, so when that happened, he actually, when they found him, he still had $3,000 in his pocket. So we took like 3,000. We took like 36,000 from him, minus what flew out the car. But he still had like 3,000 in his pocket. And I remember the homie said, "Search him, search him." And I kind of like, I went in and I felt the money. I didn't want none. Remember I told you I want nothing to do with the money. I didn't want it, homie. That
Yeah.
was like, that money is just gonna be bad for me. I did not want the money, homie, and I didn't tell him nothing. So when we got our transcripts and our police report, he hit me up. He goes, "What happened, fool? That fool still had." And we found a police report that says they found $3,000 on his back pocket. Why didn't you take it? I told him I didn't feel it. I didn't see it. Everything happened too fast. He goes, "You took his ID." I said, "Yeah, but I left it there. I just put it out of his pocket real quick. My whole my mission was, my whole thing was just to go, man. Like I wanted to leave. I'm going to sit there and strip this fool down and look for nothing, man. Let's go. And so yeah, I kept playing all that back, man. I remember that dude telling me, like, he like smiling, man, like he was trying to like he didn't know what else to do, like telling me, "Please, man, let me go, man, I promise you." And I kept telling him, "How many times did I tell you, dude? How many times did I tell you, homie? I told you that sometimes you don't know who you're messing with." And I wasn't really talking about me, homie, obviously, and so now, I was trying to calm him down. I was trying to tell him, "Look, it, man, we're not gonna do nothing to you. We're just gonna take the money. We're gonna take you to TJ, and you're gonna cross some dope for us, and we're gonna be even. And you ain't gonna retaliate. We ain't gonna be watching our back. Are you cool with that?" He's like, "Oh no, just let me go. Take the money." I go, "Nah, you're gonna have to do what we're telling you, because that's what these dudes want to do." But yeah, so that's what couldn't. He just fucking had like the craziest strength a human being could possibly have. When he kicked that door open and that light came on, it was all over for me. Like I already knew it was gonna go all bad, because my Crimey's name wasn't even his real name, so everybody knew him as but from a different name. And so when he came out, when they found the body and he came out missing, automatically they were gunning for me. They were looking for me. So I was already mad, and I believe that my Crimey knew that. He knew that if he did that, being that he was giving this for a different name, then he ain't got to sweat shit. But where he messed up is that the phone that we were using to make all these calls to arrange this drug deal, it was his mom's phone. It was a cell phone. It was one of those big old car phones with a briefcase. You know what I'm talking about? Like a car phone. And
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, the big old things. Yeah, so his mom was like a real estate agent or something. She had some nice cars, so we used to take her cars to go do like deals and to look a little bit more decent. Instead of driving on a Suburban stood out back then. If you're driving a Suburban, you were a drug dealer back then. Like or a Lincoln Town car. Remember, there were certain cars that identified drug dealer back then. So we were driving like a little Camaro. Her mom had like a little Camaro, a little Honda Civic, whatnot, So when they did the police report and they went to the homies to the victim's house, they went to the answering machine and they're playing all the answering. They were playing them back, and on one of them you can hear his voice, the McCarthy's voice, telling him, "Hey Rick, you ain't got my money, man. What's up, man? Don't be playing games." Uh, uh, but he wasn't really threatening him. You know what I mean? So here comes me trying to be Mr. Tough Guy, trying to punch some fear on the dude, and I'm really talking shit on there, like, and I sound mad, So that's part of the evidence that they use, because I sounded kind of like very aggressive, like, "Hey man, you're bringing no fucking money. But that was before we even started the deal. Like those were answered, like those recordings. He never erased his recordings. He was one of them cats that he would just put another tape. So he was saving everything. I'm like, what the fuck was wrong with this dude? Like, you answer machine, you whatever you got on there that day, and then you clear it, and then you start a new one, But they still was saving all his, like if he knew, or what are the odds of that, Like that really helped. That answer machine really did help get down to who the prime main suspects were, because of the phone calls that out of that car phone, there was 99 phone calls made to his mom's house from that phone, and that phone was registered to McCarthy's mom. So when they hit up his mom, and she's like, "I don't know nothing about it." Oh, come on, man. You gotta know, But she never talked to him, but it was dumb because they knew it was hers. So then that's when they would start. It was all bad. He was running. Me and him were both running. Like, "That's your bad." And in a way, I was happy because he was like, "Yeah, we did this. We came up on this money, and I'm not liking it." I'm like, "No, you came up on that shit. I don't want none of that shit, because that wasn't the plan, homie. The plan was, to get the money. So we're gonna split it in half, pay the $9,000 this fool owes you, and the extra stuff, the extra money, we're gonna split it in half, because the 9,000 was going to the dude that picks up the we used to call him the visitante, the visitor, because he would just come, pick up the money, and leave. I never got a chance to see his face. Every time we used to go take money or pick up money, if I was in the hotel room, I would go in the bathroom, and then a fool would come in, pick up the money, and as soon as he left, I would come out the bathroom. So I was never able to see the visitor's face. And that's good. I didn't care. I didn't want to see him. The least I seen, the better for me. The more, the more I thought I would have a chance to live, because these dudes, once you see and you know too much, and you already went to a couple missions, now you're a liability. Now they got to keep eyes on you. They got to make sure, Hey, it got to the point where I couldn't go nowhere by myself. I mean, I couldn't. On days when we weren't cooking dope, or
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
we weren't going out there to clip nobody or kill, because like my last 3 months out there, that's all it was, man. It was just going, it was vengeance on the other side, from as far as the other murders, because originally they were putting 5 on me, 5 murders. So they had killed. They killed during this whole time. They killed one of them. So they killed the Vicentante's brother, and I guess they found out who killed him. So we went from me being wanted for that murder to now these dudes are killing like a whole entire family, homie. This came out. I believe it came out of an American Most Wanted in 1992, and I'll get into that down the way, but. Yeah, so these dudes, for like the last 3 months, we're just traveling. We're going back and forth from Mexico to Tijuana to Mazatlán. We're hitting these little ranches over there, El Dorado, Sinaloa. We're going to Tierras Blancas. We're going to Culiacan. And we're going to, we're going on missions, homie, and I chose to be a driver. I did not want to be the one to shoot people that didn't do nothing to me, so I kind of practice patience and I practice on not to panic. When you go on a mission, and like for example, if you go do a drive-by or you go and shoot into a house, and you want to run in a car, and people usually peel off and burn rubber and go hella fast to get away from the area and the scene as fast as possible. And they didn't like that. They wanted a driver that was calm and collective after something vicious. And they couldn't really find one because everybody would always peel rubber and go too fast. So, man,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I used to practice, and I finally told this dude, like, "Wait, dog, I think I could do it." All right. They're like, they used to call me Little Sway Hog. I'll go, "All right, Little Sway Hog, we're going to try you, homie." And sure enough, man, I got so good at it. I didn't want, I did not, because I did go in houses when these fools were, taking people out and shit. They were gunning like cold-hearted, just straight up, like, I felt that. I didn't want to do that because then people didn't do nothing to me, homie. That was like the hardest part. I had to put a front, a fake persona, like I was a hard, cold-hearted killer. So after they fools would kick these fools, I would, every time I caught them looking at me, I would start shooting at these fools that were already dead. Like, 'cause I knew they were dead, so I was just trying to look like a straight, cold-hearted. I think it's about to cut out, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna read down.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna.
All right, so Letty, I just saw your questions, and I'll let him know that you're in here right now. As soon as he calls back, I just don't like interrupting them, while they're in the middle of their story, because then they might get sidetracked and lose the point that they're in their story. So when he calls back right now, I'll go ahead and ask him the question you put on there, and then I'll also let him know that you're in here. So I'm sure he'll be elated that that you came in, because he was asking if you were in here. So I had let him know that I hadn't seen you in here yet, but I'm sure that'll definitely make his day. You're welcome. So today I'm trying a different setup. I'm not sure if the audio sounds the same, or if you could notice the difference, but I have a desktop computer in our office, but I haven't used it just because the office was a mess. So last week I got around to cleaning it up, and that's what I'm trying to use now.
This call is
This
now
is
being
Global
recorded.
Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Javier Yanez.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello, Javier.
Yep.
All right, so
Yes, sir.
I got some good news for you. Let me see what else did she put, and then she said, then Iceman had let him know or let her know that you had been asking if you were in here. So
Okay.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate that, man. Yeah, 'cause I was like, remember I told you, I feel like when she's there, I don't feel so nervous. I like kind of like a support system. And I told her, like, man, I kind of need that 'cause it lets me relax a little bit. 'Cause the shit's gonna get bad, and and before we even start and before we continue, I want to say, 'cause I know in case my brothers or my sisters listening or my cousins or whatever, I want to tell them like not to worry about nothing, 'cause I know they fear repercussions if I say too much, if I mention names. 'Cause my shit was vicious, dog. It was real super high profile, and I don't tell people in here 'cause I don't care to tell them 'cause they probably won't even believe it. So but it was real bad, dog. And my mom, especially my mom's one of them, like, hey, like anything. I could be talking about, Mom, they didn't give me my package. You're like, don't say nothing about it. I'm like, Mom, it's nothing. There's a package. But my mom's like that, She's more game tight than any man I've ever met, in here or out there. So, like, especially my mom, she probably gonna be all scared and shit. But as long as I don't mention like certain individuals' names and detailed places and all that, it's all right, And I just want to know so they could be at peace, They made it
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
and we made it this long with no repercussions, because I bit the bullet, homie. I did the time, and my mom knows that, my dad, my whole entire family know that. They know that I just had I testified, of course they would, they would probably my family wouldn't have been here because it was that tight, it was that real. But yeah, I want to get that out there first, before we continue. Um, what was that? I think I was. Oh yeah. So I would sit there and think about, like everything that happened. I'll be like, man, I have so many opportunities to run away, but I couldn't do it. I was like, man, if I run, I even got offered money. Like my crime, he gave me, hey, fool, here. He gave me like 50 G's here, fool, if you want. Yeah, he actually cried. I mean, my crime, we were tight. That's why I trip out that at the end, you know, this happened. Like he got out and I'm still here, and he don't want to help me right now. He don't want to write an affidavit. They can't do nothing to him, man. They can't retry him. They can't. It's called double jeopardy. Once you get acquitted or you go to trial and get acquitted, they can't retry him for the same murder. So he can't even do that for me. Yeah, so that's why I think he don't want to do that for me because he fears that I'm gonna do something to him, and I'm not. I'm not. I talk to the dude. I talk to him and I tell him, hey, bro, like that's fucked up. I mean, what's up, fool? I'm doing your fucking time, homie. And his brother knows that, and his brother tells me like, hey, yeah, my brother's a piece of shit. I'm like, hell yeah, he is, homie, because I'm still taking all his shit to the grave, homie. I ain't never said nothing. The only thing I ever said was what he told me to say. He told me to say he did it. But that shit, you can't go in a board and say and just say he did it and the board's gonna believe it. They gotta have an actual affidavit from the actual person saying it. But yeah, so I kept going back to all that, and I'm going out on missions with these dudes, man, because they got this little family feud. They got the little family guerra between two families because they killed homeboy's brother. And I was real close. I was real close to the homie that got killed. He hooked me up with a ride, man. Like I was probably the only person that could drive all of his cars. That fool had a bunch of lowriders. He had a big ass mansion. He had everything, and I always wanted to have stuff like that, But it came at a high price. He lost his life. So but the dude was actually good-hearted people, man. Like he did not do none of the dirty work. He was just pretty much the one with the money and the one with the brains. He was the brains, and I believe all along, even though I never seen him, when they used to mention the visitante, I always believed it was him. So I would tell, I don't know, I would tell my main crime, I would tell him, hey, dog, it's him, huh? He's like, hey, fool, I can't tell you. I go, why? By you telling me that, you're telling me you don't trust me. You're thinking I'm a snitch. I'm gonna give him up. And they were super surprised, homie, that I was holding my mug because they were talking amongst each other because I was the youngest. Usually in something so vicious, so serious like murders like that, it's always the youngster that rolls over. I was the youngest out of the whole crew, and guess what? It was the youngster that was fucking that took the whole fucking that got the worst and the worst of the worst. Everybody got out, and I'm still in here. And no, it's actually still two of us. It's me and another homie that he's in the Fed. But yeah, and I knew better. I was like, nah, well, I got myself. I accidentally got involved, man. Like I started just seeing too much, and it just got to the point where I felt that if I didn't go along with the flow, because I would see how easily for nothing. If the homie man would go to a club and we'll meet some girls, and one of the dudes that was working with us, if he would start running his mouth like about, I remember one of the dudes started telling a girl they were smoking weed, and then they busted up some dope, some white, some crystal, and they started doing lines. And because the homie started telling the girl, hey, don't trip, we got more. I got pounds of that. Don't even trip, do it. Like they were doing rails of that shit. And because he said that, the next day, the homie had him dealt with. And that was he used to use the phrase. He used to say, clip him, take him and clip him. And man, I used to try to save some fools. Like I actually did. I saved like three dudes from getting clipped because I would talk the main dude. I would talk him out of it, and I would tell him like, man, the homie was drunk, dog, and all he said was this: why you being so like, what that like so vicious and so cold? Like we need all of us. We need each other. Yeah, I mean, we started with like at least I must say a good 40 of us, and well, by the time we got busted, it was only 15 of us. So that tells you everything, you know. And like all these dudes got clipped, they got done. So I was like, fuck. So I knew. I was like, man, when am I next? You know. So I was like, I made sure I was doing extra work. I was doing extra dirty, homie. Every time we cooked, I would fucking, instead of being, because a lot of times we were short. Some dudes were fucking, you know, some scandalous dudes were fucking, you know, they'll hide a little bit or hide a pound or leave the utensils or the sheets hella dirty from cooking, and then go back and scrape everything and get like a whole pound out of that shit. And I knew everybody's little trick. And when I worked, we used to always have extra. So I would make sure that they knew I was working my ass off and I was down with it, you know, and I was with it. I was with the business, and you know, I had this fucking, have to be so fucking, put this fake persona like I was this fucking tough, cold-hearted killer. And so, yeah, we go on these missions, and, you know, they go in there and do their thing, and every time that I had to go in the house or in the yard, like if they were, because they were going to weddings, quinceañeras, they were just fucking, just,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
like the stories you hear on the news, homie, like how there's massacres and all that. Look, there was a massacre in Ensenada, homie, and there was like about like 30 people got killed, you know, and then there was a massacre in Hidalgo, and there was like 14 people got killed, and it was usually like during quinceañeras and weddings. And, you know, there's innocent people in it all, and I never agree with them. I was in a line with the way they were doing shit, but I couldn't not go, and I could not, you know, I was kind of forced by fear. So I would go in there, and every time I have to go, I would fucking just be shooting just at fucking, you know, because them fools go in there focused. They're aiming the guns at them fools, and they're clipping them, you know, and I'm in there, and it's hella ugly and it's hella foggy, you know. When you're in the house, you'd be surprised how smoky and ugly and loud it gets in there when you get blasted. When you get to blasting with like, you know, 8 guns. Imagine 8 guns going on there, and you got some fools with AKs, you got some fools with fucking Max, you got some fools with, you name it, the ugliest guns, dog. And every time they would turn and they would catch, like I caught them looking at me, I would just start shooting towards where somebody was already laid out. I hope, you know, who am I to say they were dead, you know, but they looked pretty dead to me, so I would just shoot at the person that I thought was already gone, and if he wasn't, I am so sorry. I didn't. I felt bad about it, you know, but I had to play the part. If I showed any kind of sign that I wasn't with it or weakness, I feared that they were going to take me out because I was the youngest, you know. So that's something I had to deal with it. Like, and this shit happened the last 3 months of my life out there were so vicious. So that's why I was having all these nightmares. You know, I couldn't do it, dog. I couldn't sleep. You know, and it was so hard because I couldn't even tell nobody. You know, and you know, I had nothing that I couldn't vent it out. It was just I had to. You know, now that it's all over, you know, and I could tell the story because I'm not telling names and none of that, you know. So I know for a fact I'm not gonna get in trouble. I mean, I fucking wrote it out, you know, and I'm pretty sure I heard out there, you know, a couple of dudes saying, you know, they praise me, they're all proud of me, you know, but you know, I'm not proud of myself, you know, because I put myself in the spot, you know, all because I wanted to have money fast and I want to have my little fucking earrings on my round fly. I want to have a badass system. I want to be able to fucking have, you know, I got tired of being poor, dog. Like, my whole family, you know, my dad, my mom, like, lived check to check, homie. Like, I started working when I was 11 years old. Like, before I even got into all this drug shit, I was already working. I was 11 years old working at the supermarkets. In fact, I learned how to speak Arabic because I spent so much time working at the little neighborhood markets with the Arabs that I ended up picking up the language, you know, and so that was a plus, you know. It was a trick, dog, but yeah, I got tired of being broke. I mean, I wanted to have. I would see like the homies that were, you know, that were fucking having all this shit and fucking. I was on a little fucking beat up fucking, a little fucking ride. I never got to finish it. I never got to finishing it because it was just, you know, it was good. I could tell you that I enjoyed a good maybe 2 or 3 years of like lavish. Like everything was good, but you know, I wasn't old enough to have, you know, the money that or buy nothing. You know, it would just stand out big time. You know, having to hide it from my mom was the hardest part. My dad, you know, but yeah, it was ugly though. Like the last 2 months, were like just I was never awake during the day, homie. You know, I lived the night, my whole life out there. My whole last, I'm gonna say maybe my whole last 3 years. I was only up at night. I would go to sleep like at 6 o'clock in the morning and wake up like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and fucking go to cook, go on some missions, go cook, go on some missions, go back to sleep, go cook, and that's what it was, man. And that shit was just it was real hard. All it was like, man, I didn't even know how to process that. Like right now, thinking about it, like, fuck, what a dumbass kid I was, you know. But I was stuck. You know, when you find yourself in a situation like that, there's two things that could happen. You know, you could roll over and snitch like a little bitch and give it all up, you know, and get all scared. But you're being selfish. You're being selfish because now you're going to get a lot of people hurt along the way because you couldn't hang, you know. And I thank God that I did because that's the reason why I still have, like, nobody got hurt behind my doings. And, you know, my mom, my dad, my cousins, my sisters, you know, my brothers are mad at me. My little brother was, my youngest brother, I think he was like 6 years old. He was like 7 years old when I got busted. And like right now, we're not talking, you know, he brings a lot of shit up, like, you know, he tells me that everything's all bad because of me and that I never did nothing for him.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
That pussy, I never took him places, all kinds of shit, and that shit hurts because he's crazy. I used to take him to his little karate classes. You know, I bought him, my little sister, and my other brother Alfredo. I bought him the little karate shoes, and we used to take taekwondo. We used to go to taekwondo classes in West Side. You know, so yeah, that part right there is pretty hard, man, because my brothers kind of ended up having resentment towards me. Like they blame everything that's happening in the family on me. Did it say 60 seconds already?
Yeah, we're actually down to 20 seconds. And before we go,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have as soon as you call back right now, I totally forgot. My attention span is not the greatest, but there's a question from Elias man, and there's another question from Leticia. So when you call me back, I'll go ahead and ask you those questions.
All right. All right. All right. I'm gonna hang up.
All right. So I totally slipped on that one. Sometimes I get sidetracked, and I'm just trying to do too much at once, and I forgot about those two questions. But I went back and I read them, so I'll read them. I'll ask him the questions when he calls back right now as soon as we connect. And if you're just getting in right now, we're currently speaking with Javier, currently at Centinela State Prison. He's going through his story when he got picked up for that murder in the court proceedings and whatnot, and he was giving us a little bit of the background of some work that he had picked up. I guess it seems like it's across the border, or in that region. And I'll ask him those questions when he calls back.
This call is now
This
being
is Global
recorded.
Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Javier Yanez.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be
It's 125. Hey, this place is humongous compared. Okay, well, before I get to so there's 5 blocks, and then in every block there's it goes from cell 101 to cell 249 on top. So I mean 101 to 149 on the bottom. So that would be what? Fuck. I think like 100. Let me see. Close to like 100 cells. 100 cells in the bottom. No, actually like about 80 or 90 cells in the bottom, and the same on top. And most of the buildings are now pretty empty because I mean they started letting people out. People are going home. Back then lifers weren't going over. So like right here, this is a go home yard. You go to the yard and you always hear, "Oh, homeboy got a date. Homeboy got a date." You used to hear nothing like that. So the layout is like this. So when you walk in, it's like a big old giant warehouse. Like I never been in buildings this big because I never been level 3. I was level 4 my whole entire 30 years. I was at level 4, and level 4s are tiny. They're called pods. So there's only 8 cells in the bottom and 8 cells on the top per section, and then there's a huge wall dividing the building. You don't see nothing in front of you. All you see is the wall. And so you see a wall in a window where the cops come in. Right here is like it's like walking into like a big ass Walmart. Walmart's hardly. I never been to Walmart, but I see them on TV. They didn't even have Walmarts. When I got looked at, I see them on TV, and I said, check out how big they are and how high the ceiling is. So there's a like big old giant warehouse, and right in the middle there's a tower, and that tower can look into every cell. He can't look like he can't see detail into your house, but he can see into the beds. Make sure you're there, or if you're having like a medical problem, or if you're in your study getting in a fight, he could push the alarm. He could shoot. He could shoot I guess they measure. He could actually shoot into any cell when open the door. So the layout's like that. So when you walk in there, you walk under the rotunda. It's called a rotunda. And on top, the ceiling is all glass and bars, so the cop could see. He could see you walking under and you're going in and out of the building. He could see. So pretty much they got eyes on you everywhere you go. They got cameras everywhere you go. They're supposed to be wearing body cams. But I don't know why they don't have them here yet. But in Kern Valley, all the hoodas, they got the cameras on the body. You go outside, hey, trip out on this. They got bleachers in this prison. I ain't never seen no bleachers in a prison. Like straight, like when you go to high school and they got the bleachers. So it's like a high school layout, man. It's pretty tight. They got a baseball field. They got a bunch of dip bars, and they got a gym. Inside the gym, they just barely opened up the gyms because when the prisons were overcrowded, they had a bunch of bunks. They had like dorm living for like level 1s and 2s in there. And the yard is humongous. I mean, when I came in here, when I came in from this little tiny, I was in a little, depressed little prison, man. Like I was in a yard where there was only 2 buildings. I was in the middle yard, and it was called a STG yard. They got STG 1 and STG 2. That means high threat security groups. So anybody that has a lot of violence, like me. The reason I'm not a gang. STG is mostly for like SNY gang members and people that dropped out of the AML, whatever, whatnot. And then if you're like from a gang right here, like they got a bunch of different gangs. So, and then they got STG 2 for people that are not in gangs but are still being they're still like catching, like stabbing people or taking off on the hoodas, and you're being real violent. So I was in the middle yard, and they always put me in the STG yard. So this is so much freedom, and so I mean I love it. It's so big, it's so nice, there's so much stuff to do, man. They got drums, they got a guitar. I just barely joined like a little band. We'll go over there because I'm pretty good with the drums. And we do like little talent shows. At the end of the month, we do talent shows right there in the gym. And they got some pretty talented people in here. So they got like a big old towards by the gym. There's a big old wall. It's like it's maybe like a whole block long, right? And then they got the canteen. They got the program office is where that's center control for each yard. So they got the lieutenant, the captain, and they have like maybe at all times a good 30 officers in the whole yard. So it's 3 officers per building, but then they have like the SMEs, the ones that do the transport, the ones that take you to visiting and they take you back and forth. And the layout, I mean, it's pretty flat. It's flat land. There's no hills. We're There's no trees. You're not allowed. So there's no shade. Like if it's super hot, once you're out there, you're asked out. There's nowhere to get shade. So like if you're out there working out or if you're playing basketball or whatever, and it's super hot, right here.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
It gets like 120 right here, man. So, man, I got here when it was still hot. I was like, fuck, I didn't like it. I cannot do this. Oh, the cells are tiny, too. And the cells right here are so small compared to the 180. 180, the cells are bigger because you're in your cell longer. So, level 3, since you're hardly ever in your cell, they got so much program here, you pretty much only come in here to sleep. I like being in my cell. Like, anytime there's times when I just miss out. I like to chill. I like to draw. I mean, our days go by too fast. I mean, a lot of dudes can't wait to go home. They wish they could have it like me. I don't know how, why, or what, but I never have enough time to do what I really want to do that day, you know? The day just too fucking fast. But, yeah, that's pretty much the layout. You know, there's 5 buildings. They're all identical. And the cells are probably, I believe, 12 by 6. So 12 feet long and 6 feet across. They're tiny. You could reach out and touch your foot. Sitting down on the bunk, you could touch the locker with your feet, just by stretching out your legs. But yeah, man, that's pretty much the layout right there for
right.
Mr. Iceman, the yay area. From Sanfra, he said from Sanfra, huh?
Yeah,
that's tight. Did. That's cool.
He did.
He's a yay area.
Hey,
we ain't tripping, homie. Puro sur, homie. Puro scrapa over here. And you know how they call us scrapas? We call us scrapas. We call them fools busters. Nah, man, that shit's done with, man. I'm straight Python mines, homie. Born and raised. Nah, yeah, but I was born in Guadalajara, Jalisco. I'm not with none of that. But yeah, that's the layout, homie.
Hey, thank you for giving us a deep, detailed description of.
Super long answer, huh? Oh my God! Hey, dog. Hey, you know what? I don't know how I do it, but look it, man. Like I tell myself, look, man, just try to pretend you're just talking to one person, you know, and it just comes out, man. Hey, a lot of people tell me like, man, you could be good, and they sign me up to run groups. And I get there, and then I renege. I flake out. I can't do it. I get stage fright. They're like, come on, man, you're good at it. Javi, come on, you can do it. I go, I can't. I go, man, you would just do it in the day room. I go, yeah, because I know you guys. I know this little group. I got to be comfortable with the people. But, man, Javi, yeah, they all sign me up for, like, to run groups and be, like, the mediator for certain groups. But, yeah, I'm reading a book on how to do, like, speaking, do speeches in public and all that. So I hope I get it, man, because, I mean, there's a lot I wish, I could say it, you know, and use, like, the little $10 words, like the ones you use, like swivel, like the swivelly. But, yeah, homie, yeah, I liked it, dog. I was flossing in the yard. I go, hey, homie, what's up? Are you up paranoid, dog? You stay swiveling your head. Turn around, what you somebody look. You got something, what's going on, you know, because some fools will be walking, like, looking, like, everywhere, man, like, hella paranoid, and, like, and I don't like being around them fools, because that tells you, you know, that's how you look for problems, you know, when there's a motherfucker always looking behind his head and side to side, you don't want to kick it with him, because he got something going on there, you know, and you could get in trouble, so, yeah, I found a couple dudes today, and I call them on there, like, hey, dog, why you always doing that, you know, you make me uncomfortable when I come around you. And some of these dudes actually do have skeletons in the closet, but they ain't came out, I guess, you know.
Hey,
yeah,
Javier.
Hey, so where was I? Yeah. Come on, man. It's your turn to talk, man. You gotta, you know, every once in a while, cut in and say something, man, because you know, I'm running out of saliva right here, man. I gotta go drink some water.
Hey, I'm trying to. Hey, so Trip.
I'm just not kidding you. Yeah.
It's like I'm playing double dutch. It's like we're playing double dutch over here, but I can't get in between the ropes. But so I have another.
Nah, man. Remember I told you. I told you. Go ahead.
But all right. So the next question I got is from Leticia, and she wants to know, Javi, how long were you doing business with the cartel? And before you answer that, I just want to throw a disclaimer out there, because I'm not trying to get snatched up, and I'm not trying to end up in a barrel. You know, I like breathing, So,
Yeah.
le-
Nah. Hey, let me say something. That's what they call it, but it wasn't. You remember what I was telling you? It's not good to say shit like that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
low key it was, but it like, I didn't know. Like, here's my disclaimer. I had no idea until I got busted, and everybody started telling me, "Hey, fool, these fools, this fool, and everybody started bringing me all kinds of shit. I drove up to the yard, and I didn't even have to go to canteen. I had like 20 bags of chips and like 10 boxes of soups in front of my door. Like, what's up with that? He goes, "Hey, your homeboy's crying." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "That's for you." I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, these fools are big in here too. What the hell's going on?" But yeah, so. Yeah, what was the question again? What was your disclaimer? What was the question again?
Oh, so okay,
Spencer.
so the question was, how long were you doing business with them people that you didn't know that were part of that life? And then my disclaimer was
Yeah.
that I mean, I think if they try to snatch me up or they come snatch me up, I don't think it's gonna work if I tell them that I'm a news reporter. So,
Nah, homeboy, no. Because look it.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Hey, what I'm saying right here, they already know. Because it's on my transcripts and it's on my psychological, my high risk, my assessment and all that. And they already know. They know, and that's the reason why the DA fucking told me straight up, like, "Look, fool, if you don't testify against these fools, I'm gonna make sure you fucking die in prison." And he kept his word, and he knew, like, and I'm like, damn, like, well, but yeah, so, yeah, don't worry about that. Like, everything's good as long as we don't mention the name of it, and the name, the people, and hey, man, me and you could, it'd be like, something a little small, tiny, little organization, and you could call it a cartel. Cartel ain't necessarily got to be like a criminal organized crime shit. You know what I mean? I think I looked it up in the dictionary, and it has something to do with like a group of people doing the same, with the same some shit. But yeah, so no, I didn't even know. Like I was cooking, dog. I was cooking dope. I was cooking crystal, and them fools liked the way I did it. So every time when it was time to cook, they would call me, and that's all I wanted. I just wanted to cook, homie. That's how I started. I wanted to cook. I'd dip in there and get my 25 G's for cooking because I used to get 25,000 every time I cooked. And man, and then plus 6 pounds. So I would give the 6 pounds to like my homeboys right there in the neighborhood, or my girlfriend at the time, and she was selling off a pizza restaurant right there in Chula Vista, and she was doing her thing. But that's all I wanted to do, man. I didn't want to do nothing else. I just wanted to fix my car. I wanted to do it like maybe a couple times, maybe 3 times, 4 times, just so I could get on my feet and then go legit. But it was too late, homie. Like, you get a taste of that fast money, and you get lost, man. It's like it's mine. It's hard. It's hard unless you've been in it, like been part.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
It's hard, man. Like it just feels so good, man. Like you've been wanting to have stuff, and then all of a sudden you can have it. But then on the flip side, and there's gonna be something in the future that's gonna fucking make you pay for that, because anytime I try anything with drugs, it always went bad for me, homie. Whether I sold them, whether I tried it, whether I cooked it, there was always like sadness and misery and sorrow, and never nothing good ever comes of it.
and
No matter how badass I look at.
we're about to get cut
Yeah,
off, so
I hear you.
we got like about 10 seconds. If you could go
Okay,
ahead and give
okay.
us a call back, and then we'll go ahead and
Yeah.
continue down your journey.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so I'm all caught up on the questions. So right now, when he calls back, I'm gonna go ahead and bring him back to where he was at in his court case, and whether he took his case to trial, or if he ended up taking a deal, and we'll go ahead and get back on track onto his journey. So I just want to go ahead and thank you guys, for tuning in and listening to this conversation. And pretty much, if you guys weren't here watching, I mean, then I wouldn't be doing this. So I haven't been doing it that long, and I want to touch on something that he said earlier on, that about public speaking. I definitely got to ask him about letting me borrow that book once he's done with it, because I'm not a public speaker. I've never been confident, to speak out in public. So coming online and speaking, it's definitely a new thing for me. Um, up until I started this channel, I didn't exist on social media, no Facebook, Instagram, no TikTok, none of that stuff. So that came about with this journey here.
This call is now being
This is
recorded.
Global Tel-Link. You have a prepaid call from
Javier Yanez.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call.
Yep.
All right. So
Yeah.
Javier, so I want to bring you back to when you were going to court, in your court proceedings.
They kept sending like little notes, man. Like every time we were getting ready to go to court, and that was always me because I'm the youngest, you know. Like man, that we could get him, we could get him. So at one point, they offered me to trip out on the deal, right? And they call it a deal because I was facing originally it was five, and I told you like out of the five muertes that they were trying to pin on me, I didn't know but one, and them dudes in there. I mean, one of the other dudes was Homeboy's brother in there, you know, and that was even scary because I was going to court with the other brother, and I was telling his brother, hey, I hope because you see that you don't think I have something to do with your brother's murder. He goes, no, 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 I know that for a fact. They're just putting that shit on there, trying to scare you. Don't fall for it. So yeah, they trip out. The deal was 57 to life, 57 to life, but they would let everybody go. So the DA was dirty, homie. The DA wanted he wanted the conviction and he wanted to close all the muertes and he wanted me to be the fall guy. What you know about that? Huh? What you know about that?
So I'm assuming you didn't.
Crazy, huh?
I'm assuming you didn't take
Of
that sweet
course,
deal,
I
right?
take it. Hey, okay. Hey, okay, but trip out on this. Trip out on this. And this right here is going to be some crazy. You're going to trip on this. This shit is going to make you laugh, too. So, man, I'm thinking, right? And they're telling me, bro, like, they're going to find you guilty anyway because they're hearsay and it's admissible in court and they're just saying that you told me you did it because I was and the phone, you know, you're the one that's doing all the phone calls. You're the one that says the judge. Your name's the one that keeps coming up. So, man, you might want to take the deal because if they find you guilty, you know, don't forget it was capital murder. If they found us guilty for what the district attorney was gunning for was murder robbery. Murder robbery carries a death penalty, and they at that point they were still giving that shit out like candy, and they pumped some fear into me, and of course my mom too. Like they didn't want me to get death penalty, so I was like, but anytime they mentioned a deal with life, it really was like a deal, you know. So when they were saying 57 to life, and the death penalty is off the table, to them that was a deal, right? So I was like weighing it out, dog, and believe it or not, I thought about it, man, but I told these fools, I go, look, I went in there. I remember we're all in a holding tank, and they're like, what they tell you? I told them, hey, fool, they offered me 50 cents a lot. And they're like, nah, fuck. I go, look, fool, I'll take it, but if you could promise me, homie, and if you could do it right now, if you give my mom give her a good wad of money, homie, you guys are all wild. They'll close all those cases on me. The DA wants to close the cases because he knows the evidence is there, but he's got to dig it up. He ain't got it yet. So by him offering all that to close all the other murders that they ain't got no evidence for, you could tell his case was weak. Anytime they offer you deals, the case is weak. So I told him, hey homie, because I know they got money. I know, like one of the homies in there, he got major money. I told him, look, put like about 100 G's on my books. Give my mom like at least, give her a list, 300 G's, give her or take care of her on a regular, every year, give her a good issue of money, help her with the house. And I'll write it, and I was willing to do that for them, man. And I mean, like nobody does that, But I felt that because I failed my parents so bad, and I was so shameful that I could replace all the hurt and disappointment and I could at least give
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
and make their life a little easier, And no, they didn't let me. Their homies are like, nah, fuck that. We're all gonna ride. And I go, all right. So yeah, so I told my lawyer, hey, no deal, okay. So bam, we started the trial, and yeah, so we're going to trial. The trial was ugly, dog. Like they put these pictures on. They blow up the pictures, poster sites. Like when you go see a movie, and they're telling you the advertising what movies they got in the movie theater and the big old giant posters. So you walked in the courthouse, and they have pictures of all the bodies, honey, like big giant pictures of them. And they do that, man, to get the jurors to say, damn, these fucking cold-hearted motherfuckers. And then they got pictures of the before, or how they found them, and how bloody they were with the clothes on and all that. And then what they do is they wash the body, and they shave it, honey, completely. They shave all hair, and then they'll split it open. They'll put the body open like a cross. You know how they crucified Jesus like that, like everybody. So you can see every single bullet hole. And yeah, so they point out how vicious and how much of an overkill and how cold. So they're trying to make the jurors, they're trying to plant that in their head that we're just fucking cold blooded and everything was overkill and all these dudes got shot over, they were getting clipped. That's why these fools used to always call it clipping, because they were using the whole clip. And so you're walking in there, man, and man, imagine my mom, imagine I had a lot of my family in there, my tias, my cousins, my sisters, my brothers, my little brothers, they weren't even old enough to see that, And you're walking in there, and you already got some kind of feeling, it's just like, man, it's so hard. It's so hard to explain what I was feeling, but I was feeling something weird, like out of body, like, wow, man, I don't want to see this, mom. And I would, every so often, I would look at my mom, and throughout the whole trial, she was just chewing up. And she was telling me, I know you didn't do it, I know you didn't do it. And my mom knows I didn't do it, And like I said, the other ones, like the ones that I thought they were already dead, I really, really did believe. I mean, I was like just shooting around the area. Like I was trying to look cold-hearted, so that way they wouldn't doubt me. But yeah, so they had all the bodies right there, and the trial was fucking ugly, dog. And it was like we would start from like maybe like 7:30 in the morning, and we wouldn't end till like maybe 3 o'clock, maybe 3:30. And this was every single day for 3 months, like almost 2 months and 2 months and 18 days. There you go, 2 months, 18 days, every single day except holidays. And it was that DA fucking digging up some crazy shit. What they used a lot was like character witnesses. They went around my neighborhood asking pretty much the older people, because they tend to lean towards asking older people, old ladies and old men, because they're going to be more honest about how you were in the neighborhood. And it was nothing good, like, oh yeah, he used to come around here all the time with his truck, bumping his radio, had a loud rattling our windows, and he was always playing music in front of his house, and he always had different cars, and I always wondered where he got the money and stuff like that, it just makes me sound like it's like you don't want that. You don't want, I want to sound like a regular person, like, he was there watching his car, and he would just say, like, how much we used to party right there, and how much, they always had a different car, and that they thought I was up to no good, because they knew I didn't have a job like that. They know me from working at the supermarket when I was young. They know I didn't finish school, so they always wondered how I got the money. So a lot of character witnesses pretty much put it in on my case, man. And like they threw me out there as like a big drug dealer right there in the area, and that I had all kinds of cars, and I had all kinds of money and jewelry and gold and all that. And I did. I wore a bunch of gold, but it never dawned on me, like my own neighborhood that was gonna, like these old ladies that were good friends of my mom, they were gonna, but they're honest people. They're not thinking how much they're hurting your kids. They're just, they're saying, look at this kid was like this, he was like that. Of course, they're not saying, oh, I seen him kill somebody or I seen him rob somebody or none of that. They just pretty much want to know how it was in the neighborhood, Then they went back to my juvenile record, and then I had no violence really. As a juvenile, I had pretty much just that one with my teacher when he called me a wetbag, and I fucking just nicked him with the pencil, and they didn't even charge it as that. They just pretty much was just me rebelling against the teacher, and they didn't really put it down as a actual violent attack. And they let me go the same day. But before that, it was just number out affairs and stuff like that. So they were looking for like kind of like to see. They were trying to go inside my head, like what I could have been possibly thinking. Why did I turn into selling drugs? And they were doing pretty good because people around the neighborhood were saying, man, he was trying to fix up his truck. He was cool. You know, you have the ones that were talking good about me. You know, like, oh, he used to tint my windows. He used to install my car system. Because I used to do that for a hustle too. My brother used to do it too. We used to go and tint windows. And I mean, I got super good at it. And I used to install the amplifiers, and I used to make speaker boxes and all that. I was a hustler, dog. I used to go and do like wax all the ballers' cars, people that were doing good, that had brand new cars. I would bomb them and all that. So yeah, so the trial started getting it started getting deep into like the people that were testifying against me. You know what they used a lot was my ex girlfriend, her sister, my ex girlfriend's best friend, her sister, her brother, her mom. It was so crazy because her mom would like straight out, flat out lies because they knew they were so mad that that dude got killed because they were friends. It was their friend too, and they just maliciously just fucking battered me, man. Like saying, "Oh, I know he did it. He didn't like him. He threatened his life. He told me he was gonna kill him because he owed him money." Yeah, I used to always talk like that. Who doesn't sometimes when you get mad? You know, I'm pretty sure you've got mad, and they're not even meaning like you get mad. I'm gonna kill you, but playing and stuff like. I used to say that all the time when I was in, you know, and even when I was playing, I used to say it. So yeah, they use some of that too. And I remember one time, you know, when I was in a run, I did go and pick up some stuff that I had in my ex girlfriend's house. Yeah, there's some stuff in there that has sentimental value for me. It was like pictures and stuff. You know, I went there and they happened to be there and they pulled me over and they called me in the bathroom. And I went in the bathroom. They're like, "What happened?" They're like, "Did he threaten you? Is that why you killed him?" I'm like, "Nah." And I don't want to say it wasn't me because by me saying it wasn't me, I was, you know, low key dry snitching, you know, throwing it on my crimey. So I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to get killed. I didn't want nobody in my family getting killed. So I couldn't say it wasn't me either. You know, I was there like, I don't know. Like, the shit happened, man. And, you know, it was dark, and, you know, all I heard was just, and they're like, "Tell us how you tell us, cause he was our friend. He was our friend." I was like, "Man, all I could tell you is that you know, I went to do a drug deal and that happened. That's it. That's all I did. That was my part in the whole thing, man. I was there to drop off the dope and pick up the money. You know, what happened after that, it happened too fast. I don't know." So when we went to trial, they said that I went in there and that I called them into the bathroom because they were in there drinking and partying. So all three of us went in the bathroom to talk so nobody could hear us. So, and that I told them that I had no choice, that I killed him because he pulled a gun on me, you know? And it's all fabricated. So now you got two females, you know, saying that story, and there's the mom and the sister. And of course the story's going to match. They lived together, so they practiced it. They matched it because they were so mad that that was actually their little weed supplier. Because they used to smoke crystal too, so that was their little crystal connect, their weed connect. So not only were they mad because it was his friend, pretty much the connect was gone. It was done. Like, where are they going to get the weed? And I know they were thinking about that. They could miss me with all that. Oh, that was our friend, and they all that fake crying, all that shit. No, all that was part of it. They were mad because the little connect that was gone, and they didn't want to.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Yeah, so they went in there, dog, and they said that I told them I did it. So that's one of the things they used. They used the phone bill records from 99 phone calls made to that house that same day, and then he turned out dead, from a phone that I used, and they used my cell phone number, and there was
You have 60 seconds remaining.
12 or 13 phone calls made to that out of my phone. and they use that's pretty much it, man. And just the mom saying that, well, Javier called like 20 minutes before he disappeared. Javi kept calling, Javi kept calling. Everything was Javi, you know, because they know me. And Tony, the other Tony, they don't know who that is, because that's my family don't go by his real name. So, you know, everything was going for him. Whatever his little plan, it was going as planned. Like, fuck me, I'm getting fucking busted. He don't give a fuck about me. He got the money. And I didn't want none of that shit. I was fucking so mad, man, that he did that, because he just killed my whole life there. Like, he decided to change the
It's
plan
about to
without even
cut off.
telling me, and I knew. Yeah. You want me to call right back?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, I'm
yeah.
gonna call right back.
All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, so uh, Javier is currently going through his story. He should be calling us back. He reached that 15-minute call. Unfortunately, these calls, you know, they only last for 15 minutes, and once the time's up, the calls are automatically disconnected. But luckily, where he's at, they have tablets, and he's able to call me back immediately. So he should be calling us back in the next few moments or so. And remember, if you're new here, if you have any questions, this is a live stream, so we're doing this real time. If you have any questions, just go ahead and drop any questions you have on the chat, and as soon as I get a moment.
Oh man, what was I? Brain fart. Okay, so yeah, let me see. I was. Do you remember?
Nah, we're on
Do
the
you
we're
remember what
we're,
was
we're
that?
on the same boat, but
Okay. Yeah, you know why? Because I kind of went off. I kind of veered off course. Hey, $10 word. You hear that? That came out of nowhere. I ain't used that shit about a veered off course. Hey, see, I'm telling you, I'm over here with my dictionary at night sometimes practicing new. Got killed was sleeping with my girl. Hey, that's crazy. I didn't even know that, you know? And imagine how I felt at the time. I felt so fucking betrayed, man, because I was cool with that dude, man. I used to find him dope, and I never sweated him. I didn't care. He always paid me, but this last time he was just lagging, you know? I was super good to him. Nobody was giving him what I was giving him. I wasn't even sweating him for the money. I knew he was going to pay me, you know? But here comes these other dudes, and they want their money fast. But yeah, so yeah, so they were telling me that they were trying to come up with that theory that supposedly I set that up and he got killed because I found out he was sleeping with my girlfriend. What a cold blood, huh? Like, I didn't never knew. I was clueless. But yeah, I guess she slept with the dude, but I didn't know, and I didn't care. I was already over it. I didn't care about no love at the moment. I cared about about not going to prison and going back to my life, man, going back to the other road, going back, we put that shit in reverse, go back to my life that I was actually living, you know. So yeah, so they used some of that, and then they used, what else, I guess, that's it. You know, they had money under that wasn't the money. They had a gun that wasn't the gun, and they call it decoys, just so they could show the jurors what kind of guns were used. So they went as far. It was a chill because they went as far as like they fingerprinted all the money that they found in his back pocket. That they had that money too. They had the $3,000 that the homeboy had in his pocket still, and they fingerprinted the sample baggie because that dude was given a sample and he went in. Then he got the money, and they found nothing in the sample baggie. And then they had a gun in there, and it wasn't a gun, but it was a decoy so they could show or like well, it's not a decoy, just so they could show the jurors what kind of guns, and then they went as far as like positioning our body, like a fake little body right there made out of rubber, and where the people were standing, because I mean all the shots were like up close. I mean his skin burnt, so they were like like real close, like you could see burn marks on the skin. So I mean the shots were like real so close to it. I mean, I was dark. I was still in the van, homie. When I heard, clack, 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 I was like, oh, this motherfucker done did this shit, man. Like everything just went blank on me. You know, when you ever got punched and you see white when you get like you get slapped or you hit something hard and all you see is white. So that's what I seen. Like when I heard the shots, I just seen white. I mean, everything went real white, and it was in a real dark spot. There was no lighting at all. It was right by the border, right there on the freeway, on 905. And yeah, so that's crazy because that's what they used to condemn me, homie. Just hearsay. No eyewitness, no fingerprints, no murder weapon, nothing. No, I wasn't caught in the scene of the crime. It's just because this blockchain that I told her I did it, and because that phone call, there was 99 phone calls made to that house the same day that he turned out dead, but the phone wasn't under my name. The phone was under somebody else's name, but they're like, yeah, but your voice was the one on the answering machine. I go, yeah, but the voice on the answering machine was from like 3 months ago. Well, that don't matter. 3 months ago, you sounded like you were threatening him. He did owe me money from 3 months ago. But, yeah, and I did. I fucked up. I did threaten him, but I never meant it, I seems like that's the way I would get him to pay me faster all the time because he would bullshit a lot. And as long as it was my money, I didn't care. But this time he wanted extra stuff, so I went and got him extra, So he owed for £9, and his girl told me. I guess he bought some cheating, and his girl spicily told me one time at a club. I seen her at a club, and she told me, hey, this fool's trying to balance out your money and everything, so he's not gonna pay you. And that's cold. His own girl set him up for that, That's how I know, man. Girls could be so cold sometimes. But yeah, they used that on me, and then so I'm going to trial and fucking pretty much. Well, it's getting to it's about this. So during the trial, we got a juror. We got a jurors. I think I told you I had maybe 3 Mexicans, all white jury, and just 1 black. And the black juror was the bus driver for the city of San Diego, and she was fucking pretty. She was beautiful. She was fine. She had body weight. And she never wore the bra. She had like a little silk. She would wear like the thinnest material too. Like, yeah. And she was flirting with my crimey, bro. I would catch her like flirting with my crimey. And then after trial, my crimey would tell me, hey, fool, I think she likes me, fool. And it was real. So we got caught. One of the head juror, the lead juror, stopped the trial in the middle of the trial and asked for a chambers hearing, to go in chambers, and went in chambers, and she told the judge that she caught the black juror giving my cranny goo eyes. That's how exactly how she said it. She's been giving them goo eyes. So then they brought her out and they called her in the chambers and they asked her, and she said no. But I know she was, And that was going to be our juror that was going to acquit us, right? For sure she was going to, because all you need is one to say no. So they let her back in. We continued with the trial, and she was still flirting. She was still flirting. The judge didn't go for she was thinking they were being racist towards her because she was the only black juror. So she's in there towards the end. She's doing once we get to deliberations, she's getting in there, homie, and she's telling the judge, she asked to go see the judge too, because I guess they had a fight inside the jury room while they were deliberating. The black juror threw a cup of coffee at the head juror, and so they went in there, and those are automatically grounds for a mistrial, to start all over, and they didn't grant it. So she went in there and told the judge, hey, I can't go back in there and deliberate because they're being prejudiced.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
They're being mean to me, and I feel they don't like me because I'm the only black person in there. And the judge told her, can you go back in there and deliberate, please? Because they had already been in there like 2 weeks. The deliberation took 3 weeks, and we were looking at a non-guilty for sure, because anytime they take a long time, it's always non-guilty. So she said, nah, I can't go back in there, man. I feel like if I go back in there, and she wanted to leave. It was close to Christmas. She's like, I don't feel I can go back in there, because if I go back in there, I feel I'm going to get in a fight with that girl. So the judge said, okay, well, I guess we're going to have to ask for the backup juror and let this one go. So before they let her go, my lawyer asked her, okay, well, on the record, and it's on the record, and they asked her, had you stayed in your verdict and you had to still finish the deliberation, what would your verdict be? And she said, not guilty. There's nothing in here. I'm not going to live the rest of my life knowing that I found these dudes guilty when you guys don't got no evidence. There's nothing in here. I don't feel right putting these guys in prison for the rest of their lives when there's nothing in here. It's just all hearsay. And that's how the argument started with her, with the jurors inside the deliberation room. Exactly like that, because she told them that. He goes, you guys are going to find these dudes guilty, and there's nothing here. And they wanted her to find guilty so they could all go home, and she wouldn't do it. That's some cold shit, huh? Because that's it. That's all I needed was for her to say not guilty, and that's it. It's a wrap. We're getting out that same day they let you go. And no, so then she went back in. They let her go, and they got another juror that was sitting out through the whole trial, because they always have, I think, 2 extra jurors in case one of them falls off and one could take over. And so they continue with the trial, and so, man, it's long, bro. It's going and going, and you know, I got the people that are testifying. And my ex-girlfriend's in there shaking, like having a heart attack, because she's so scared. They got her in the witness protection program, and they still do to this day. And when I got busted, she was pregnant, and she was pregnant by me. I never got a chance, or never found out if she had my kid or I was there or whatever. She just disappeared. But she was shaking, so she was making it look so ugly. Like, that's how much fear she had. She couldn't talk. She was having nervous breakdowns. Her and a friend, like every time they asked her, "Can you point out Mr. YANEZ?" And she couldn't do it. Well, she would not look at me, and she was like shaking. And they had to take her outside, and she was having like seizures. That kind of fear did not look good. And the jurors kind of like seen that and said, "Whoa, this shit is real. Is she that fucking scared of these dudes to the point where she's fucking breaking down like that? These dudes are real." This is like, you know, so that kind of tainted the jurors' mind, and it pretty much, they already had pre-assumption and fucking with their mind made up half-ass a little bit, except the black juror at the time. But with the new juror, she was there to witness all that. So they're in there fucking deliberating, and one of the ones that kind of helped me out a little bit was the mom, because they asked the mom, "Is it true that Mr. YANEZ went in there and said that?" She said no. I go, "Well, fucking no, you know, I wanted to stand up, and you're not allowed. I wanted to stand up and tell the judge, what's up?" Like, so, boom, you just caught him lying. Like, you catch somebody lying, you know, automatically you can't. That's a wrap. You can't use that to convict me. They got caught in a lie. They're not credible. They're not honest. Plus, they were part of the drug deal. They're admitting to you about all their drug use and all that, and they're admitting to you that they were high that day. You know, anybody that was high when there was you can't use them to come testify, because you can't take their word for it, man. But they allowed it. They allowed it, and that's all they had again.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So they come back with the guilty verdict. I mean, they come back with the guilty verdict, and whatever. I don't know, fuck it. I'll trip out on this. So when we come back with the guilty verdict, guess what I did when I walked into the holding tank? Remember what they told me when I told them about the deal they gave me? Remember they said, "Nah, fuck that, homie. We're all gonna ride." So as soon as I walked into that fucking holding tank, they were all right there, all red-eyed, all tear-eyed, because all of us got found guilty, because them fools were on another trial, and we're all, that's what happened if I was guilty at the same time. I walked in, and as soon as I walked out, I had a big old smile on my face, and they said, "We're all going to ride." And they're like, now we're all fucked, homie. You know, one of you motherfuckers could have been out there looking out for moms, you could have been, you know, we're all fucked. Because I was willing to take the deal. I'm still in here regardless. You know, I ended up getting all this time anyway. So something told me I was going to be in here for life, or I was going to be in prison. I felt it from the minute I got busted. I was like, man, that's my life. And I had to fucking just switch my whole way of thinking, and I just had to accept it. It was either that or break. And I was not going to break, you know. And my family don't know, man. Like I never even told my family, nobody in my family, the story, you know, and hopefully now that I got it out, man, they get to see, man, how much shit I endured, you know, and how fucked up it was, because it wasn't me, and it's not me. You know what I mean? I'm not violent like that. You know, I became a little more violent in here because people used to, you know, people would threaten me, and prison is real. You know, a lot of these fools don't know. Like, you can't threaten nobody, you know what I mean, and not expect for that dude to come at you first. Once you threaten somebody, you better either do it, because it's coming. You know, and that's how I ended up getting in trouble in here. Like, fools that were hating, and, you know, my first 2 years in here was a struggle, because I was born in Mexico, but I was from a gang in San Diego, And most people from my gang are paisas. They were born in Mexico, anyways. But I had to deal with that too. Everywhere I went, they would tell me, "What are you, homie? Are you a sureño or are you a fucking paisa? Because you're always kicking it with the paisas." And I would tell them, "Hey, homie, I'm a Mexican, homie. I'm a Mexicano that so happened to be from a."
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And they didn't like the answer I would give, but I was writing on who my crimies were, because I knew they weren't going to touch me. So I kind of low key took advantage of that part, and I would lash out bad. I'd tell me, "Hey, homie, what the fuck's wrong with it, homie? I'm a Mexicano, homie. Yeah, but why you always with the paisa? Why you always over there with the paisa, Ramfla?" I go, "Hey, homie, there's no regla that you say you can't be with the paisa, but those are all people. We're all Mexicans, homie. Whether you're born here or there. You mean to tell me that because you were born over here and but if your mom and dad are Mexican and you're born over here, you're Mexican. It's the same thing. If you get a motherfucking Chihuahua dog and you take it to China, and two Chihuahua dogs have a Chihuahua dog, it's still a punk ass Chihuahua dog. It's not a China dog. And so I would get this out of, I would get them so pissed because a lot.
All right, I was about to tell him that the call was about to get cut off, but I'm sipping on this hot cocoa my wife just made me, so I couldn't do it. Anyhow, so he should be calling us back, and then right now when he calls us back, I'm gonna ask him what was going through his mind when he got found guilty and convicted, and what was racing through his mind. If he recalls, what was going through his mind. I mean, I think when you're going through something like that in life, that's something I don't think you could forget, or at least me, I wouldn't be able to forget it. I mean, I would definitely be able to remember, what I was thinking and my thoughts at that point in my life, just because it's such a huge moment in life. So there we go. And the foreman or the jury is reading off the guilty verdict.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind? Are you processing what's happening at that moment? Do you remember what your thoughts were? Did you look at your family? Any expressions that you could recall? What was that moment like?
Oh man, hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell you like this. It might be hard to believe, man, but I took it like a G. I mean, I did not want to show sadness, not because I didn't want my mom, because I know if I broke, my mom was gonna break. So I kind of like just like I psyched myself out, man, to just just pretend that it's not permanent, it's temporary. Like, Mom, I'm guilty for now. Don't trip. We got appeal action. And my lawyer was telling me too, because throughout the whole trial, my lawyer keeps telling me, man, they're fucking up. They're leaving you so much room for appeal. Yeah, of course, deep down inside, I'm putting that smile. Now on the other side, my family, the one that was with me on this case right here, his eyes were fucking red. Yeah, that motherfucker looked like he wanted to cry. And I'm looking at this fool like, man, you a fucking super cold-hearted ass motherfucker, tough dude. And here we go with this little guilty verdict, and your eyes are gonna break, And I'm like. That already told me, man. That was telling me. Cause remember, don't forget, I've been mad with him throughout the whole trip. I was mad at him. I mean, we used to argue. He was my celly, and when we cut the chain and we went to Donovan to reception, he was my celly. Oh boy, I want to put some whooping on that motherfucker so bad, but I knew he had fucking people. I knew he was up there. I knew he was somebody. I knew he had Jews, so I didn't want to cross that line. And That fool fucking, I tell you, he broke down and cried twice, you know. One when I was out there and one when we were busted. And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it, man. I became like my heart, like, it's hard for me to cry on, like, you know, I went through a lot of shit, but yeah, that's what I was feeling.
Okay, and I have a question from Eliasman right here, and he wants to know
Hmm.
how many people got convicted for that murder in the van.
Oh, for the murder event, just two. But for the other ones,
Yeah.
all of them got convicted. Everybody ended up getting convicted. But yeah, like we all got convicted for everything they charged us with. The only difference was the DA didn't get what he wanted. He wanted first degree murder robbery. So the whole theory is we set up a drug deal, we robbed him, we killed him, we took his money. That's different. So check out on this. They acquitted me. Oh wait, I forgot to put something in there. Let me put this in there real quick. Okay, so during the whole trial, my lawyer's telling me, hey, Mr. Yanez, are you alright if I ask to put a second degree murder instruction just in case they find you guilty? Just in case they want to find you guilty, they can go to the lower, being that it's close to Christmas, they don't want to give you the 25 to life, they can give you the 15 to life. I'm like, man, you're the lawyer, homie. What are you asking me? Like, I don't know what the fuck, I don't know what to say. Like, so I told him, man, I trust you. Do what you do, man. Do what you do. And yeah, so for a whole week, the DA and the judge was not allowing my lawyer to submit that jury instruction to the jurors because it's not a second degree murder. In order for that fucking second degree murder jury instruction, you got to prove that it's a second degree murder. So what my lawyer did was say, well, since we don't know exactly what happened, my theory is that what if it is a self-defense, or what if it is in the heat of the moment, in the heat of passion, where he found out that this dude was sleeping with his girlfriend. You know, that falls under the guidelines of second degree murder, heat of passion. So, but for a whole week they fought it, and the DA kept saying, no, I want first degree, I want first degree, and only first degree. Finally, they broke. They gave it to him. Boom. Long story short, they found me guilty. They acquitted me of first degree murder. They acquitted me of the robbery. Guess what? Had my stupid ass lawyer going to put in that fucking.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Had my lawyer not put in that jury instruction, I would have got acquitted, huh? Because we were getting acquitted. All along, we're getting acquitted. The jurors already knew they were going to acquit me. But because it was so close to Christmas, and my lawyer threw in that second degree murder, you know, man, just finally guilty because of that jury shit that happened with the two jurors fighting, the foreman juror or whatever. And so they all wanted to go home. So they deliberated just to go home because it was the day before Christmas. So only obvious they got tired, man, just give them second degree, you know. And yeah, man, and what's crazy is that my crime went back on appeal. So okay, so we ended up catching him. I ended up going to New Falls. So he stayed. He came to this fucking. He stayed in the house in San Diego. They shot my ass all the way to Sacramento. I was the only one that's staying all the way up there. My luck, you know. And I get there and they get that fool. 2 years later, he goes back on appeal. And you know, the law says, you know, when you get found guilty and you got a crime, if he goes back on appeal, you have to go back on appeal because it's the same case, same crime. Oh, I didn't go back on appeal because my lawyer was the one that invited the error. Ain't that a bitch? Yeah.
So let me ask you. Ultimately,
I got mad right now. That shit got
ultimately,
me thinking about it.
ultimately,
That shit got me hot, boy.
ultimately,
Yeah.
how many years were you sentenced to? And were you also is that the only conviction that you were the only murder you were convicted of, or was there other murders
Yeah,
that you were
yeah.
convicted of also?
Yeah, they ended up dropping. All that. They were, you know, when they gave me my police report, the other 5 murders were on my police report, and they were saying striking commonalities. That the reason they were charging me with those is because they happened identically in the same fashion with the same kind of gun, and it was pretty much the same kind of area in the same area, and they all them people that they found, I had their phone numbers on my pager. I had a pager back then. Remember when we had pagers? I had a pager back then, and so because I had their phone numbers, they were trying to link me to them. But they ended up taking that shit off the table and only running with this one that they found me guilty for. And yeah, so I got convicted for just that one. You know?
And how
So
long?
shit.
And how long did it take them for for you to catch the chain and get you got sent upstate?
Um, I got the guilty verdict like what is it 2 days a day before Christmas. So by January 4th, no, February 4th, I was already in Donovan, and I sat right there in reception for about. I was there for a long time in reception. I was there probably for 7 months, and bro, like I wanted to stay right here in the area because everybody's here, and fucking all these motherfuckers, all the ones that were colder and guiltier as hell, got all the good shit, and I got the bottom of the barrel all the way to New Folsom. You know what I mean? I get there, dog, and fucking, I'm hot, I'm mad, man. I have a 12-hour drive from San Diego to over there, some shit like that. Like, oh yeah, I'm masked out. I had just married my girl, so we got married for that purpose, so she could do family visits and all that bullshit. But because I was so far, it kind of like it put a damper on the whole thing. And like she's like, man, babe, I can't fucking do that. Like I can't go over there on the weekends. I could go to Salipatra, I could go to Centinela, probably Lancaster, maybe right there, Fresno area, Kern Valley area, but not Sacramento. But yeah, the only ones that were going was my dad, my mom, my sisters. But yeah, it took me about maybe a month and a half later after I got convicted. I hit reception, and then after 7 months of reception, I ended up hitting my first prison was New Folsom.
And
Yeah, man,
what was your original sentence?
It was 15 alive plus 6 plus 1. So they gave me 15 alive plus 6 for the gun. No, plus 6 for the 2 kilo. They found me guilty for 2 kilos of cocaine, but they never found cocaine. They used the baggie as a conspiracy. They said because the deal was for $36,000, even though they don't have the dope, they found me guilty for 2 kilograms of coca. That's crazy. So yeah, they gave me 6 years for the coca, and they gave me a year for the gun. So all in all, it was 21 life.
21 to life. And then you had also mentioned that your co-defendant he went back on appeal, and did the court ended up a ruling in his favor when he went back to appeal or went back on appeal?
Yeah, he went back on appeal, and they fucking acquitted him. They didn't even want to retry him. And so that fool got lucky. But trip out on this, as soon as he got out, he got rearrested for manufacturing. So that dude, man, I would have fucking learned, homie. I would have stopped. I would have been so good afterwards. That would have been the reckoning right there. But I guess he wanted to keep on bombing, and so I ended up in the Fed.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And just
that fool ended up getting stabbed. That fool ended up getting stabbed right here in this prison.
And just to clarify this, so he went home, right? He didn't get picked up. He didn't get rearrested. He didn't get rearrested when he walked out. So he went back home. He started doing the same activities he was doing before.
Yeah.
Then they ended up picking him up again. Okay.
Yeah, and like after he got out, and he lasted maybe like 4 years, and then they picked him up again for manufacturing, and he ended up doing like 11 years on that one.
And then you mentioned that he was stabbed. So he got stabbed after he came back after being out for 4 years?
No, he got stabbed during waiting to go back on appeal. He got stabbed right here in this, I think, Calipatra. They fucking stabbed him all over in his face, everywhere. So they wanted to kill him because I think he had promised one of the guys that are up there, some money to help him on a case, and he was just fucking talking out of his ass because we're out of money. All the money was used on lawyers, and we didn't have shit, But yeah, so he didn't come through on his word. So yeah, they ended up getting him. So
wow.
That's karma, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's karma.
And is this the guy that you're still in contact with? That you say you speak to him here and there, and he's in Tijuana?
Yeah, well, I don't actually speak to him. I speak to his brother because his brother knows, man. I've been trying to get his brother to have his brother write an affidavit so I could take it to board with me. You know, because the same story I give you guys is the same story I give the board. And tell them, look, man, you know, I'm in here because I fucking didn't want to snitch. I'm in here because I kept my mouth shut because the DA told me straight up, if you don't help me convict these dudes, I'll make sure I get your ass in prison for life. And all I did was set up a drug deal. I'm guilty for setting up a drug deal. I'm guilty for knowing that these dudes that was going to do the drug deal were dangerous people. I'm guilty for putting the guy in, putting him there because had I not put him there, he would have never gotten killed. So yes, I'm guilty. You know, I take responsibility for my part. But this is what happened because they want me to go in there and say I did it. You know, first they say they want me to be honest and tell the truth, but how can I tell the truth and go in there and say I did it when I didn't do it? I was there. It happened, you know. But
Javier,
I don't think it's fair for someone. Yeah.
so I just got a question from my lice man, and lice man wants to know,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
did you ever appeal?
I said what?
El lice
Yeah,
man, he wants to know
yeah.
and what was the
They
outcome?
denied me. They denied me. Remember I told you that he got granted? Because appeal went in at the same time. His got granted. His was affirmed, and mine was, no, his was, he got a reversal, and mine was affirmed. I stayed. As is. Yeah. And I gave up after that. I never tried. I didn't. I hated anything with the law because I was putting in all the work to my appeal. I was going to law library every day. You know, I was trying to help my lawyer. I was trying to, you know, and it was a headache. And then, bam, they fucking give him a reversal, you know, out of all people, you know. The devil gets a reversal, and I'm stuck in here. Like, what the fuck?
And the call's about to get cut off. If you want to call us back right now.
Yeah. What's up? Yeah, you want me to call back?
Yeah, we'll do one more.
We'll
do one more.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. Just
All
to
right.
say goodbye.
All right. So after this call right now, after he calls back, we'll do 15 more minutes, and after that, we'll go ahead and call it a night, and then we're gonna continue on his on his prison journey once on our next live. I'll check if he's available for tomorrow, or when this is what is his availability, and once we figure that out, then we'll go ahead and continue on his journey, because he's been down since 1993, 30 years now. So that's a lot of many years to cover. So our guest, it normally takes about 10 phone calls, but I think this one's gonna be definitely more than 10 phone calls, or 10 streams.
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid
This
call
call is
from
now being recorded.
Javier Yanez.
And what were you planning to do? Once you touch down.
Man, I was just thinking like, I'm here. I gotta switch into like fucking, it's all new turf for me, dog. Like, this is my first time in prison. I know the county jail rules. I don't know the prison rules, So my main focus was, walk on that road, walk a straight line. You know what I mean? Like, don't go against the grain. So I know this shit is real. The reason I never got stabbed in prison, and I never got jumped, nothing like that, is because I follow the regla that us prisoners have in here, good prison etiquette, and I follow. When I was active, I follow the reglas, the active reglas. I didn't break them, and so that was my first thought. I was like, all right, fool, like, pay attention, and keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, and watch and learn. And so, yeah, it was me watching, learning, and making sure that I stay out the way and try to be as the least involved as possible. And it was hard because of who my clients were. Everybody was everybody was being so nice to me, bro. And I didn't like that because I couldn't find that one person that I thought was just cool because of my persona, my character. Everybody was like, "Hey, that's your crime. Yeah, I was your crime." Yeah, and I knew that there was all they all had ulterior. But yeah, so you get all this, you become a magnet to all these fucking dudes that are in here.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Straight snake ass dudes in here that are so fake, honey, and you gotta just, peck a note around them. You just gotta give everybody their little your opinion about them, and just, be fake with the fake and be real with the real, and just stay focused, because I knew everybody was just phony. Everybody's just getting high in here. There's so much drug using in here. It's ridiculous, dog. Now I understand why a bunch of homies got out, strung out, you know. But yeah, that was my mindset right there, man. Just stay focused, follow the regla, and pay attention. And yeah, man. Um, Pretty much that's what the my first fucking year was just fucking learning, dog. Little thing I was working on like a big dog, 'cause I knew I remember my dad told me, Mijo, you're in there, take care of your hands, take care of your eyes, 'cause your hands are gonna protect you, and your eyes are gonna keep you both, keep you on point. And yeah, so I started working out. It's just yeah, we had weights back then, so I wasn't just working out. Fucking, I was going to school. It was ugly, dog. Because you know how you get here, you still gotta wait to get your TV, your radio, the packages, all that shit. Back then it was so slow. I mean, they only had one package company, and you had to have your family send you packages from the streets. And they were so picky. Every time they sent me a package, they would take more than 80% of it. I couldn't have. You can't have this, you can't have this, you can't have that. So I would end up with maybe 30 out of a $400 package. I end up with maybe $30, $40 of it. And I would always tell my mom. They didn't know. My mom didn't know much better. I remember one time my mom sent me a blanket. Poor mom's old and she don't want me to be cold or good. That's what my mom is. She wants to make sure that I'm comfortable in here. And but yeah, that's pretty much it. Like it was, I was trying to learn though. I never been here. Never been here.
And the people that you ran into, were they schooling you right? Were they letting you, were they helping you out, or were people, trying to play you?
Hey, you know what's crazy is that it never. I was oblivious to what I never paid attention, but I got busted with a badass Gucci chain and a big old medallion with the Virgin Mary, big one, and I mean to me it was like I've been wearing it forever. It meant a lot because it was given to me by my brother-in-law, so it was my chain, and that was one thing I couldn't stand, man. Like, hey, what's up? What you want for that? In prison, they see stuff like that, and to me, I used to take it. I used to take insult to that. Like I felt that so disrespectful. Like, hey, everybody that see my chain, what's up? What you want for it? What you want for it? What you want? You want some dope? Like, oh man, so I got tired of it and I stopped wearing it. And my neighbor. I remember I got tired. Fool. I got tired of waiting for my radio because I wanted to have my own shit. I'm a music. I love music. And then I remember my neighbor, some Puerto Rican dude, said, "Hey, what's up, man? Send me the chain, man. I'll give you my radio right now, and I'll buy you a new radio, and I'll get you TV." So I had everything right there, man. And man, I got rid of that chain, man, because I wanted a distraction, because my celly had a TV, but looking like being on the top bunk and looking down, it makes your neck hurt. So I wanted a TV on the top locker, I want to chill. I just want to fucking watch TV and go to sleep at night. But yeah, a lot of people were, majority of them. Everybody starts out cool. I mean, in prison, everybody's trying to impress you. Everybody puts a poker face. Hey, what's up, homito? You need anything? I got you, cause I can. Half these fools that tell you need anything, they don't got shit themselves. So if I were to say, yeah, man, give me some toothpaste and a deodorant, I would call them on it. They didn't have shit. Half these fools that are coming around telling you that if you need anything, they're the ones that are trying to tell you low key, I need something. But yeah, like everybody starts out cool. Every so often you run into one. one cool dude that's righteously, sincere.
Let me ask you something. So you mentioned the Puerto Rican dude. During that time,
Hmm.
do you know if he was like a Puerto Rican that was born in Puerto Rico, or were his parents Puerto Rican and he was born off the island? And who did he run with?
Puerto Ricans usually run with others. He was fresh out the island. I mean, he was learning English, and I remember too, like his English, he was flossing it. He was so proud of his English. You know how they talk. Oye, papi, ¿qué tú quieres por esa? It's, oye, papi, ¿qué tú quieres por esa cadena? Like, hey, what you want for the chain? And I kind of dig that he had the courage to, because a lot of people that don't speak English, they're kind of embarrassed to throw it out there. And it's breaking past that embarrassment to be able to speak it. So I became his fucking English teacher. So we got pretty close. That fool had money. Yeah, he man, I had a TV, I had a radio, I had a CD player, and a switch of a chain. As soon as I gave him the chain with the medallion, I had everything, man. But it was a big cost because that chain had a lot of sentimental value for me. But I needed a distraction. Yeah, he was first from the island.
Thank you for
There you
asking.
go.
I was wondered about that. For people,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Hispanics
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. They're usually like people that are like they usually run with others. The others got it so good. I mean, they don't never get in trouble. They don't never get in riots. And when we're on lockdown, they get to come out. I just wish I was another sometimes. I wish I was another. You know what I'm saying? They don't get in trouble, homie. Yeah, bro. I'm over here struggling like a man. This food. Oh, chip out the hood when I drive up to the yard. Oh, okay. When you drive up to the yard, they go. Are you a smoker? Do you want a smoker packet or a regular roll? I'm like, what the fuck is a smoker packet? And so you get here, they give you a packet with a toothbrush, toilet paper, comb, and a pack of cigarettes. I'm like, what the fuck? And I didn't smoke, I was like, what the fuck, a pack of cigarettes? But I know in the county jail, I remember I used to sell them. I was hustling, so I would buy a pack of cigarettes, and I was selling for $1 a piece. I was making money. The hustle in me is always there, so I was making money. So I was like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, give me a smoker packet. I'm thinking about selling them too, but they sell that shit in the canteen, like, ah. But yeah, they give you a little smoker packet. And then Huda asked me, he goes, what's up? What are you? I go, what do you mean, what are you? I said, I'm Mexican. He go, yeah, who do you run with? Who do you run with? I go, nobody. I'm a dumbass kid, dog. Like, nobody. And they're like, I don't want to run with nobody. I'm just me. I want to come in and get out. He goes, where you live out there? I said, San Diego. He goes, get over here. You're a southerner. So the fucking Huda made me a southerner, homie. Because I was not into none of that shit. Like, I did not have southern. I didn't have sutras. I had no tattoos, none of that shit. So, bam, off top, he put me with another southerner. But all the paisas, the paisas was looking at me like, this fool straight paisa, what you doing? I'm in there with the sureño. And they asked me, like, hey, fool, I don't know, what do I do? I was born in Guadalajara, but I'm from a barrio in San Diego. He goes, you're paisa, but you're from a southern gang. And what the fuck is wrong with that? Well, I think I'm Mexican, but in prison it's weird, bro. Like, I never understood that. Paisa and Mexican from Mexico and Mexican from here. To me, you're Mexican no matter where the fuck you go, if you're Mexicano and both your parents are Mexicanos and you take a trip to Russia and your mom gives birth in Russia, yeah, you were born in Russia, but you're not Russian, you're still Mexican, How does that work?
Absolutely,
I
yeah,
never understood that.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah, that's my philosophy. That's what I believe. So I would fight, man. I would always argue with these fools. Like, hey, dog. I used to call them plasticones. Fools that were born over here.
Yeah.
I'll tell them, you're going straight plastico. I'm fierro, you're plastico. And they're like, baby, they didn't know what the fuck. I go, why you say that? I go, cuz you fucking soft there, motherfucker. Dog. Like, we're the you broke shit down, homie. Latin bandera. You're Mexican, homie. You just happen to be born over here. Chicano, cálmate, güey. You're Mexican. But yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Yeah. Hey, well, I
But
know.
yeah, homie.
I know we're getting short on time, and I don't want you to cut you short on your outro. When you're telling
Yeah, no,
everybody.
it's good. No, no, yeah, it's good, man. 2 hours is good. Last time we did more than that, man, and I don't realize how long it is. I'm just getting the shit out,
Yeah.
and no, it feels good. I'm starting to feel lighter and lighter. But hopefully, like kids, will pay attention how easy your life could fucking just get fucked up, you know. Pay attention to your friends. They're
And
not always really your friends.
definitely want to cover all that. Your transformation. Where you're at in life now. The programs that you
Yeah,
participate in. The programs that you run. Definitely. Want to share that with our audience. Because yeah, your story started off. Uh, bad. Obviously somebody lost their life, but ultimately,
yes,
you're definitely in a different space now. You're doing different things,
yes,
and those are the things that I really want to convey to our audience. But unfortunately, I mean,
yeah,
you've been in there for a long time, 30 years, so it is gonna take us some time, to get to
yeah.
to that point of the story.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm there. You let me know. And it's all good. You know, it feels good, man, to be able to talk. I mean, I'm a talker, homie. I got so lucky. I got this friend, Letty, and she's still there. She's mad at me right now, man. I don't want to throw it out there, but she's mad at me right now. You know. I remember I told you, huh? When we made that phone call, it's nothing that big, but man, it's just silly. She's my buddy. She's my rock right now. She's my best friend right now, But yeah, I'm a talker though.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
One time me and her did like 7 hours talking, so imagine that.
There it
Eh?
is. Yeah, yeah.
7 hours, homie. You know?
Hey, good
But
thing the
yeah.
good thing the calls are free now, because if not, those GTL phone calls are really expensive.
Yeah. She told me that. She goes, man, remember? He goes, I'm so glad these motherfuckers are free, because back then she had a dude in prison, right? And fucking she didn't know how to tell this motherfucker, like, stop fucking calling motherfucker, like this shit's fucking breaking me, fool. But because she loved him, she's a good person, dog. She loved him, but she didn't know how to tell this fool, like, hey, love you, you're my man, but come on, homie. Like sometimes you call for some bullshit. You use a three-way. What the fuck? You know what I mean? But yeah, homie, I appreciate. I can't believe how fast the time went by. I got school tomorrow too. Anyway, fuck, I gotta go to school.
All right, I knew that was gonna happen. But anyhow, so I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to this conversation, and we'll definitely continue if possible. I'm gonna double check with him and check if he's available for tomorrow. If he is, then we'll go ahead and run another one tomorrow. If not, then we'll go ahead and work around his schedule, and whenever he is available, then we'll go ahead and continue down his journey. And I want to go ahead and just thank you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the stream, and you guys go ahead and enjoy the rest of your night.